9 gets absolutely RKO'd. And, typically whenever that happens, you lay on the mat for a while, but right there he just hops up. So I don't know, maybe Hogan, those guys maybe aren't that tough. Maybe this is the toughest guy in the world. But typically when I saw that move, those guys were down on the mat for a while, maybe for a 3 count. So Florida State had a really good game plan, played extremely physical. Wasn't a perfect game, but they obviously were the most physical, most prepared. Played really well in the second half against LSU. Ended up with a really big win. And we'll look at some of the important plays. Before we get started, if you could like and subscribe to the video, that'd really be helpful. And also, if you're looking for any merch, there'll be a link in the description. Also, you just scroll down, you should be able to find some designs off thelipdesigns.com. But we'll dive right into it. Just going to go straight through the game with the different looks that I thought were kind of interesting. This very first one is a touchdown here from Florida State, and they're just throwing a quick screen here to the boundary. They have 3 receivers over here out of empty, throwing a quick screen to the outside guy, blocking there, blocking to the corner. And they're running double slants up here to the field. Right here before the ball snap, you can see it's a 1 high look. You basically got 3-on-3 over here. You got those 2, and it's a 1 high look. So really don't like the screens down here to the 3 receivers. So they can end up coming up here to these double slants, and they're just pass prone. There's no RPO really with that. So you're either going the screen here, or you're going to go double slants backside. Travis goes backside. Really good ball right there on Coleman. Probably one of the biggest pickups in the transfer portal right there. Huge athletic receiver out of Michigan State. And right here, this is a really good accurate ball. Puts it on his body so he can protect himself. Outruns his corner. A really poor play there by that corner. Should be tracking that hip, and he's just diving instead of running through that. And then really athletic play. Catches it, puts his foot on the ground, and he sidesteps. Not many 6'4" dudes are making that play right there, making that safety miss. He's just throwing an arm at him. So you got 2 guys that barely touch that guy, just throw an arm to him. And Coleman just outruns him right there. You got 2 guys behind there just escorting him to the end zone. Really big play right there. Just throwing the double slants out of empty. Could have thrown the screen over to the boundary with 3 receivers over there. Didn't like it as far as the 1 high. They had gotten their numbers correct over there to it. So went to the double slant and extremely well executed, accurate ball. And then you got a great player right there. I think Coleman is an absolute dog. It makes 2 guys miss. Walks into the end zone right there. Florida State's first touchdown of the season. This is a play that I thought was somewhat interesting for a couple different reasons. Right here, they're in that A set, and they get chips right there on those ends to help these tackles. Once this tight end gets a chip, he goes to the flats. Right here, he gets a chip, and he goes to the flats as well. This receiver ends up crossing right there shallow. The running back comes out, and then he goes back in on a bit of an arrow. It's a little bit jumbled up, but you can see what they're looking for right here. They actually motion across right there with Coleman, so they brought him from the other side. And right here, as you see, it's snapped. You get a good chip there, a bit of a chip there, making it easy on these tackles. A little bit much there from 6, who also had a big game. Now he's going to the flats right there. That single receiver is coming across. If you're just looking at it, once he comes across and he goes out, so you're saying he's probably running there. He's got to chase that crosser. And when he goes out and he comes out and he goes back in, this guy's probably going to be out leveraged possibly on that in route. So he starts working out. He's working across. He's got to chase there. And that takes place. Here's a running back getting out. This is a little bit jumbled up because I think 6 takes it a little bit too much on this defensive end. But right here, the back's getting out. Just looking there, he's 1, 2. If that Mike's rolling to it, to that to 14 there. If that Mike's chasing 14, now you got that back replacing that Mike right there. So he beats 4 back underneath. Throw and catch right there to 9. Easy first down on a 3rd and 5. So interesting play. Some stuff that LSU has run in the past is very similar. You have those guys crossing, and you have somebody working out of the backfield back across with them. So if they are chasing hard, now you have a guy replace that guy. You can get another easy completion right there, which is what Florida State does right here. Just going through the progression of your 1 on that out, 2 on the cross on the shallow, and then you got the back that's replacing that linebacker right there for an easy completion. Here's a look from LSU's defense where they're bringing 6, and it's an empty set. Obviously, when you got 5 to block, and somehow they still don't get there in time. And I think the reason being is they don't fill up the gaps. Right here, I'd say he's probably supposed to go B gap, let him go C gap so he can get a free rush. And typically, whenever you got a guy that's a right-hander, you're going to want the line to slide that way so the guy to his back so he can roll a little bit away from it to buy a little bit of time. But right there, he gets 2 in the gap, and this tackle he just watches number 2 into number 14 right there and watches him pass the quarterback. Obviously, there is a little bit of pressure. But right here, all you got is a slot fade here by 4. It looks like his eyes start here. Could possibly go uncovered with a couple of these things, but then he just understands that Coleman is his best guy. He must like his matchup right there, and he just throws a jump ball. You got a hitch right there, slot fade on safety. Again, they're not used to playing those fades, not as much as those corners. And Coleman goes up, big boys him. 2 hands to it, strong through it. 8 right there. He's trying to swipe through the middle of his hands. You can see trying to be strong. Isn't strong enough to get it away from 4 right here. A great throw and catch. That guy's an absolute dog right there. All right, Moss is number 8. Makes it look easy. Have to have extremely strong hands, extremely good balance, everything to finish plays like that, and that's what Keon Coleman was able to do right there for a big touchdown. Here's the end zone view of it again. Now, if you're blitzing 6 and you're just going straight saw blitz, which is what they're doing right here, I'd say this is probably more like what they're trying to do as far as the gaps. So now you're going to should get a free rusher right there, have the O-line slide that direction. So likes the slot fade. There is a 1st and 10. Might have something a little bit quicker in case we're hot right here, which they are hot from this side. But since they don't fill up all the gaps, he washes all that away. Quarterback's able to just get a big 3 and even get a step up right here. So steps up, lets it go, and just a really good throw and catch. Put that ball outside the numbers, and your guy playing big boy football goes up, makes a play, finishes it in the end zone. Huge touchdown for Florida State. All right, here's a double pass from Florida State. And a little bit of motion there to get him there. He's under center. He flips it behind. They're really trying to get this tight end out on this corner. LSU does a pretty good job of dropping underneath it. You got a corner. You got a safety over the top. They see it. So right here, 5. He decides he can't throw it. This guy has to have had some quarterback experience in his past, so he doesn't like it. Now he decides I'm going to start working this time to look like Michael Vick. And even the way he's carrying it right there, he's had to have done this a lot. And right here, these are pretty good defensive players. He's just out running that guy, giving ground, doing whatever he has to do. And people are trying to get open. Here's 14, who the ball ends up getting to. As he's about to run, he sees 14 with some space, puts it right on him. Easy throwing catch. Never seen a guy that was a receiver run around with the ball like this and just look that natural throwing it on the run. I mean, this is one of those things where this guy had to have been an absolute stud playing quarterback at some point in his career. But right there, puts it right on 14 for an explosive play. Double pass right there, threw it to the receiver, and now he just turns it to Florida State's version of Mike Vick, and he just runs around the field, makes the LSU look stupid, and gets a completion. Here's a look, looking like 4 verticals. This guy actually gets out to the flats. You got a dig, you got a post there by Coleman, and obviously a big body receiver, that definitely helps. Quarterback, as you're looking at it, his eyes go directly to that safety. So if that safety hangs, you're going post. If that safety's way off, now you got a high-low with that dig and that running back to the flats. But right here, as you see it, post wins, lays it out there. Not the perfect thing keeping him running, but he keeps him away from this backside safety, so he puts it on the hash. Big body's able to box out 22 right here and extend a little bit to make this play. Explosive play there. Florida State, we'll see the routes. And right here, you get an outside release, so this guy can't see both of you. If you go inside, he's probably going to wall, and he can see this receiver, and he can see that flat defender, the flat receiver who's the running back getting to the flats right there. So you want to prefer outside release, get into that dig. Now you're high-low on that safety with that post. So good job outside release. That's that tight end. Get in. Really good route here by Coleman. As you're looking at it, square him up, get his hips square, and he sticks that. He leans, gets his hips open to the outside. Now he breaks back across face. He's going to try to create contact. This is what he does right here. 22 creates contact, but right here, great job just pushing that dude off. Get the hell out of the way. I'm creating in my own space. And right there, big body running through contact right there. Playing physical, then he finishes his play right there. Really impressive play by Coleman. Great route, stemming him up, and just with this bit of a lean to get his hips open, and then back across his face, creates space right there with his hands, with his body, and finishes. That's the main thing. Make sure you're finished. Great route, and then he also had a great finish at the end. 4th and 2 for LSU's defense, and they're bringing 6, and all they've got is 5 guys deep, playing cover 0. Right here, this backer should be manned up on the back right here, and all they do, very similar to a play that Colorado ran against TCU, running these guys across. He's going to run across right there. So you got 1, the back's getting out. There's number 1. And you got 2 right there if the back's not open. But right there, he's crossing. This is the unblocked guy. They slid the line that direction. He slips that guy. And now there's nobody left. Good job right here. Obviously going to the quarterback's right. He's able to be a little bit more of an athlete going to his right so he can pump. He can drop his arm angle. He can do whatever he needs to do to get that ball around. There is nobody left. And if you're looking right here at the guy that's supposed to be manned up on him, he loses sight of him. He steps up. I don't think he's realized that he's released that way. He starts running that way late. He doesn't run that way until right about now. He feels that, and we even get a bit of a rub from that guy going shallow. He's going a little bit deeper, and he's intermediate there as well. So there's a lot of bodies to run through. If that linebacker would have recognized this off the snap, he still wouldn't have been able to get there because there's a lot of rubs, a lot of stuff that he's got to get to try to get there. And if he does get there, now 14's got all that space. If you roll this back, the guy that should be manned up on him is way outside leverage, probably taking away that out, something like that. But with him running across the field, if you're playing man-to-man, if you get rubbed at all, or if you're not just extremely fast, you're going to give up that free first down right there on a 4th and 2. Obviously, bring a little pressure, trying to speed that quarterback up. But right there, easy throwing catch to the back. And now they literally have a third of the field with nobody left, and everybody's running out in front blocking. They get this all the way down to the 1 yard line. So right here, roll that back. You can see these guys circling defense. They're trying to play hard, but 4 rolls through it. You got everybody out in front blocking, and this guy jumps on his back and basically RKOs him. Grabs his head and absolutely slams that dude. This is like WWE right here. Not sure what 4 calls this, but it's definitely some sort of a finishing move. 9 gets absolutely RKO'd. And, you know, typically whenever that happens, you lay on the mat for a while. But right there, he just hops up. So I don't know, maybe Hulk Hogan, those guys maybe aren't that tough. Maybe this is the toughest guy in the world. But typically when I saw that move, those guys were down on the mat for a while, maybe for a 3 count. So pretty proud of that dude. Hops straight up after a big play and gets RKO'd. But, you know, what does that say about, you know, Ultimate Warrior and those guys that just lay on the mat forever? This is a play obviously going with a little bit of tempo. We're looking at this side of the screen right here. That's kind of interesting. They got into an unbalanced set. Obviously you got 3 receivers over here. You got your tight end. And they're trying to run inside zone here. So if you're running inside zone, they've actually got this extra guy off the edge right here. He's flying in, saw blitz, trying to take care of this, dive in there, take the back. Somehow, quarterback, he's reading this backside. He sits, and somehow he feels this defensive end flying in right here. He gets the pull, and he just replaces him to the front side with his run. So really impressive right there. I'm not, obviously I don't think this thing was something that they taught him how to do. I think this is just one of those things that really high football IQ, a guy that's played a lot of football. He knew that he was sitting, that wasn't an option right there to pull it. And then he felt this guy flying in, and so he just pulls it instead of letting that running back get smoked, and he tries to make something happen, and right there it just happens to be that he ends up walking into the end zone. So really football savvy play. Great job kind of understanding and feeling it. Right here pre-snap, you kind of, if you knew the exact blocking of this stuff, you'd kind of feel like that guy is obviously unblocked, that guy's obviously unblocked. So makes it work right there, gets pull, and he ends up strolling in. Really good football IQ there by quarterback. Here's another look of just a fade here to Coleman. You're getting this guy out for an out if that's your secondary option. And just a split right here. This ball is on the right middle, 3-4 yards inside the top of the numbers. And all you see right here is straight pass set, getting a 7-man pro. He's squaring that guy up, trying to make it think he's got a possibility of a cut to the inside. And then boom, he sticks it, and he just tries to lean, create all kinds of space for the quarterback to throw. You've got all that room right there. You're going to want to go 10 feet high, 5 yards deep. Keep this back pylon and the back end zone, the out-of-bounds line right there from becoming an extra defender. And right there, you just throw it into open space and let your guy do his work right there for you. He boxes him out, flips his hips, uses his big body just to make that play. Easily gets his feet down right there. Quarterback doesn't throw it too far out of bounds, too close to the sideline or too close to the end line. Make it where this defender can just push you out of bounds. So right there, gave him plenty of space. You can talk about all the skill guys and all these other things, but the real reason that Florida State was able to win this game is because they're most physical and they're able to run the football more effectively than LSU. Right here, just a brief look at one of the plays that was one of their favorites. Is getting into this set where it's a 3-back set. You basically got 2 tight ends right here in the backfield and your running backs. All they're doing is running counter to the left. And if you just drew it up where it would be perfect against this front, all you're going to do is you're going to block back. We're going to double there to the back side. He's pulling a kick. This tight end's pulling for the front side. This tight end's going right there. And then we're just running the ball right there. He'll gap hinge that on this back defensive end. So we'll take a look, see how it actually happens. Not everything is going to be perfect. Right there, you're getting a bit of a slant there to the front side. So that tackle ends up locking up right there. If you're looking at this back right here, flows pretty hard, pretty quick over the top. So this guard's got to go pretty vertical to try to get a hold of him. So right there, he's going there, get a body to him, occupies. Isn't going to be just an amazing block, but he's occupying that guy right there. Let's see what's happening right here from the backside. Let's see the center. He blocks back. Right tackle works in. Gives a little bit of a hip, actually trips that guy, helps out. Now he can gap hinge back out. 75 is going to be the kick. Right, you see him rolling right there. You got a pretty good squeeze there by that defensive end. Probably going to turn to a log. So he's working the outside shoulder to pin. 84 is coming across. Here's his guy, front side linebacker. So he logged the end. So he kicked that guy. Good job putting your front side shoulder on it, getting him kicked. And if you're looking at this front side fullback, He's going right there. Hopefully, again, putting your play side shoulder to kick him. Got everybody occupied. Now, is this perfect? No. The angles get kind of weird on some of this stuff, but they get everybody occupied, and the back has great patience. Now he gets vertical right here, running through arm tackles. These guys are just hopping on the back for a ride, and that's 11, 12 yards right there on 1st and 10. So these are things, just body blows right there by Florida State. They did this all night. They stuck with that run game. They also were able to create those explosive plays through the air, but as far as the run game, really got it going in the second half, and that was really the difference. They were able to run the ball and create that second dimension. That right there, really good run. Just hand that ball off, getting about 10, 12 on 1st down. Thought this was a really interesting play. You had this guy going to the flats. They play fake that direction, and then it's just basically a naked or a boot here. This receiver comes off. He's actually their tight end. He acts like he's blocking for some sort of a screen right there to tight end, and then he slips deep late. You got an outside receiver here. I think he's probably running a post. He runs those guys off. Right here, we'll look at it. Right here on this one, you're actually getting this guard around to help lead for the quarterback on a boot. And right there, he's looking here. And you see, if you're watching this guy, all you can see is his feet. But he's sitting here, he's selling like he's blocking for a while. So that takes a little while for him to start going vertical. But he gets wide open whenever he does go vertical. And those guys are flying down thinking it's some sort of screen to that tight end. Good throw and catch into the hole, about 14, 15 yards deep. And now 6 gets rolling with some momentum. These guys don't want to tackle him. I know they don't, because we'll see on the very last play why. But right there, plays with some momentum, gets to the end zone. Huge play right there. Really interesting look as far as that boot and basically faking like you're going screen to that tight end. And he's able to slip that thing into the alley where the quarterback can throw a nice, strong ball to him, get it to him right now. And he's able to finish in the end zone because he's playing with momentum. Here's a play that Georgia has ran quite a bit with Brock Bowers, but Florida State runs it right here with 6, and all they do right there is they hand him the ball right there and make it look like inside zone to the left. These guys squeeze a little bit. That's all you need to do. Now you're getting a body on body, making a safety come down and tackle. But right there, 6 gets it, playing with momentum. 24, corner, turns his back. He spins a little bit, trying to get in, do something, and gets absolutely flat-backed and embarrassed. That's not good for anybody right there. He's actually getting his face mask drug across the field. You know, whenever you got that grass in the top of that face mask, you know you absolutely got drug right there. I remember as a kid, anytime I was having to pick grass out of my face mask, that previous play probably wasn't that good, and that's what 24 has to do right here. But anyway, here's a better look of it. 6 playing with some momentum, 24 playing with none, unaware, and gets absolutely drug face first into it. I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't want to tackle this guy either. Really impressive win there by Florida State, and they look like the stronger, more physical team, and they're gonna be a handful. I know they play Clemson in about 3 or 4 weeks. That's gonna be a really big game. I'm thinking these guys are gonna have a really good shot at that ACC title and chance at the playoffs. So anytime you're that physical, and then you've also got the players on the outside and a quarterback that can make plays, you're gonna be really hard to beat. As long as you take care of the football, they're gonna be really hard to beat. So really excited that Florida State's back to hopefully being one of the better teams in the country.